Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Computer and Information Sciences, SOCIS, Bachelor of Computer Applications, BCA_new. Semester 2. FEG-02 Foundation Course in English 2. Block 1 English 2 Part 1. Unit 2 Writing Paragraphs 2 The Development of a Paragraph. 2.0 Objective. The objective of this unit is to discuss different techniques of developing paragraphs and to help you to make use of these techniques in writing your own paragraphs. 2.1 Introduction. In Unit I we discussed the elements that made a good paragraph, the topic sentence, development of the topic, thematic coherence, and the use of transitional devices. In other words, you learned how to organize your paragraphs. In this unit, we shall help you to develop different kinds of paragraphs. Paragraphs can be developed in a number of ways, depending on your purpose, the topic, and the kind of reader you have in view. The different methods of paragraph development can be considered in terms of two broad categories. I. Those which stay strictly within the scope of the topic, e.g., illustration, description, definition, and cause and effect. 2. Techniques which involve a second topic, e.g., comparison and contrast. The method of development that you choose should be the one that will most effectively put across the point that you want to make, the point you have stated in your topic sentence. There are no rules about the kind of development to be adopted in any writing situation, although some topics lend themselves more readily to certain kinds of development than they do to other kinds. It must be realized, however, that you can combine more than one technique in composing a paragraph. 2.2 Illustration. Giving examples is one of the easiest ways of developing a topic. When a writer gives examples, he helps the reader to understand a rather difficult and abstract generalization which may be contained in the topic sentence. He is also able to persuade the reader that the generalization is correct because there are examples to support it. Examples also add to the reader's interest. We often introduce examples or illustrations by using expressions like for example, for instance, an example, etc. Example 1. Development of a paragraph by illustration. All warm-blooded animals are incredibly helpless at first. Young birds and young bats must be taught to fly. Thousands of young seals and young sea lions are drowned every year. They never learn to swim. Naturally, the mother has to take them out under her flipper and show them how. Birds sing without instruction, but they do not sing well unless they have had an opportunity of hearing older and more adept members of their species. Older harvest mice build better nests than beginners. It is said that the young elephant does not seem to know at first what his trunk is for. It gets in his way and seems more of a hindrance than a help until his parents show him what to do with it. Insects, indeed, seem to start life completely equipped with all necessary reflexes, but even there the concept of instinct seems to require some modification, for they improve their talents with practice. Young spiders, for example, begin by making quite primitive little webs, and only attain perfection in their art in course of time, and older spiders, if deprived of their spinnerets, will take to hunting. From Evans, B. ed. The Natural History of Nonsense. Alfred A. Knopf, Inc. Glossary. Warm-blooded, adjective, able to keep the temperature of the body rather high whether the outside temperature is high or low. Incredible, to a degree that is difficult to believe. Seal, a large fish-eating animal living mostly on cool seacoasts and floating ice. Salian, a type of seal found in the Pacific Ocean and having large ears. Nipper, a limb of certain large sea animals, with a flat edge used for swimming. Adept, adjective, deptal, highly skilled. Hindrance, n, something that prevents an activity. Equipped, provided with what is necessary. Reflex, an action or movement of the body which happens by itself when one sees hears or touches something. For example, you remove your finger on touching something hot. Instinct, ways of behavior which are not based on learning or thinking, but are there from birth, e.g., a bird flies by instinct. Modification, change. Web, a net of thin threads spun by the spider. Spinneret, an organ of certain spiders which produces a silky thread used in spinning a web. When giving examples to support your topic sentence, keep in mind that there should be enough examples to support your point. Each example should be logically related to your main idea. Each example should be developed with interesting details. Note that the writer of the paragraph above does not merely list the examples, but tells us in what way each of these animals is helpless, the results of their helplessness and how they become self-sufficient. The examples should represent a reasonable cross-section of the group you are dealing with. 2.3 Description. You may never have to write descriptions which are complete in themselves, but you may need to include descriptions in other pieces of writing, e.g., personal letters, narratives, reports and travelogues. You may like to describe people, places, objects, habits and conditions, as well as scenes such as accidents. Since descriptions are concerned with detail, the larger and more precise your vocabulary, the better your descriptive writing will be. The following items are usually included in descriptive writing. I. Place and position, direction. 2. Measurements, weight, size, volume, distance. 3. Shapes and patterns. 1. 4. Colors and textures. Materials and substances. Of the more than 20 species of small whales, our 300-pound playboy is identified by his gunmetal hide, his 8 to 12 foot length and his laughing face. The porpoise has no teeth at birth. They begin to appear from 44 to 50 in each jaw a few weeks later. Though he suckles for about a year and a half, he begins to munch small squid at 4 months. He breathes through a single nostril, a crescent-shaped blowhole stop in his head that closes upon contact with water. This is also the source of his voice, and he can vibrate it like a human lip. His eyes, set just back from the mouth, are like a human being's, capable of ranging. He hears through a cushioned inner ear and patriotic bone, and has the keenest auditory sense of any animal. His brain weighs about 3.7 pounds, which in cell count per cubic centimeter is the same as man's. Some marine biologists believe that porpoises may have a higher potential IQ than man, but have never had to develop it, because they are so perfectly adapted to their environment. Adapted from Scott, J.D. Pranksters of the Sea, in Marvels and Mysteries of the Animal World. New York, Reader's Digest Association. Glossary. Playboy, wealthy young man who lives mainly for pleasure. Here it refers to the porpoise. Gunmetal, a metal which is a mixture of copper, tin, lead and zinc. The animal's hide is compared to gunmetal. Porpoisel tilde, pus, a large sea animal that swims about in groups. Munch, eat with a strain movement of the jaw, making a noise. Squid skw tilde d, a small sea creature. Nostril, the opening at the end of the nose, through which air goes in. Crescent, shaped, adjective, curved like the shape of the moon when it forms less than half a circle. Blowhole, a breathing hole at the top of the head of a whale, which controls or regulates the flow of air in and out. 6. Braid, caused to shake continuously and rapidly with a slight movement that may often be felt or heard rather than seen. Ranging, stretching or reaching from one limit to another. Cushioned, provided with soft inner lining. Peri, tilde tick tilde pr tilde, or tilde k, surrounding the ear. Auditory, of hearing. Biologist, a scientist who studies living things. Potential, Adjective, capable of developing. IQ, intelligence quotient. It is a measure of a person's intelligence. 100 represents the average. Adapted, suited. Environment, surroundings. This description of the purpose is a good example of the type of writing that seeks to create a clear and accurate word picture of a subject, without specifically mentioning the author's feeling about it. Notice the way in which the writer has built up a picture of the purpose. The first sentence gives the general characteristics of the purpose. The rest of the sentences add details to develop the subject. These details are concerned with the physical appearance of the subject, such as its teeth, nose, eyes, ears and brain. Most good descriptions follow this progression from the general to the more specific. When you write a description, keep in mind that you must begin with the general appearance. Select such physical details as will support the description of general appearance you have given in your first sentence. Describe each object by giving characteristics such as size, color, design, weight, and material. 2.4 Cause and effect. Besides using illustration and description to develop the topic of your paragraph, you may in some cases need to use the technique of cause and effect. We often have occasion in our lives to ask, why did it happen, or what will happen if, and then try to find the cause or effect of an event. You may, for instance, want to know the cause of your poor grades, or of a bus accident, or the effects or consequence of taking drugs, of deforestation, etc. Cause. Analyzing the cause can be quite a complex task. For example, a daughter's rebelling against her father and leaving home may have an apparent immediate cause, but there may also be a chain of causes going back into the past. Thus, there are likely to be many causes, not just one. When you write, you can follow any of these patterns. You may discuss one or more causal connections between events. You may trace a chain of events in which A is the cause of B, which is the cause of C, which causes D, and so on. The choice between one cause and several causes is often not a free option. Usually your topic will determine it. When you work with several causes or reasons, you face the problem of arranging them in a significant order. If the reasons follow a logical ATT turn, i.e., if the main event is caused by A, and A in turn by B, and B by C, the organization is predetermined. But sometimes the reasons or causes may be parallel, all contributing to the same result. Then, a good strategy is to begin with the least important cause and conclude with the most important. When developing a topic which is supported by reasons or causes, remember to make it clear whether you are dealing with an immediate cause or an earlier cause, a direct cause or an indirect cause. To consider multiple causes. To account for all the links in the sequence of causes, and to write about all the causes or reasons with details. Example 3, development of a paragraph by listing the causes. Hills and mountains are slowly worn away over thousands of years by the process of erosion. Erosion takes place everywhere on Earth. There are several forces of erosion. Glaciers which carry rocks weighing thousands of tons, frost which causes small cracks on rock sides, strong winds which wear away exposed rocks in deserts. By far the greatest cause of erosion, however, is the action of water on rocks. Water carries chemicals dissolved in it that soften rocks. This softening is the first stage of erosion, called weathering. Rainwater falling on hills runs into streams and rivers, and these carry the weathered rock away. Millions of years in the future, your favorite hills will have been worn completely away by erosion. Adapted from Geography by Dougal Dixon, Franklin Watts Science World. Worn away, causes to disappear. Erosion, the action of wearing away. Glaciers, glaciers, masses of ice which move very slowly down a mountain valley. Frost, a white, powdery substance formed on outside surfaces from very small drops of water when the temperature of air is below freezing point. Analysis of the paragraph. Topic sentence. Hills and mountains are slowly worn away over thousands of years by the process of erosion. 2a. Causes of erosion. Glaciers. Frost. Straw in vines. Water. b. Process of erosion by water. 3. Summing up, in a million years, even your favorite hills will be worn away by erosion. Exercise 5. You have just read and analyzed a paragraph which lists the causes of erosion. It follows a sequence where the important causes are mentioned first, followed by the most important cause. Now, think of your own life. For instance, what were the reasons which led you to join IGNOU? Jot down your reasons. Effects. Effects or consequences can be handled in much the same way as reasons or causes. But now the main idea is regarded as causing the consequences discussed in the rest of the paragraph. The paragraph may deal with only a single effect or refer to several effects. If several consequences are listed, one must be careful to distinguish between the major and the minor ones. Example 4. Developing a paragraph by listing effects. An earthquake strikes without warning. When it does, its power is immense. If it strikes a modern city, the damage it causes is as great as if it has struck a primitive village. Gas mains burst, explosions are caused and fires are started. Underground. Railways are wrecked. Whole buildings collapse. Dams burst. Bridges fall. Gaping crevices appear in busy streets. If the quake strikes at sea, huge tidal waves sweep inland. If it strikes in mountain regions, avalanches roar down into the valleys. Consider the terrifying statistics from the past. In the year 1755, Lisbon, capital of Portugal, the city destroyed entirely and 450 killed. 1970, Peru, 50,000 killed. From Can We Stop Earthquakes? In World of Wonder. Glossary. Warning. The act of giving earlier information of danger. Imamwe, very great. Gas mains. Pipes bringing gas from the source of supply to the houses and buildings. Gaping, crevices, say tilde p tilde tilde. Creves tilde zl, wide openings or cracks. Tidal, ta tilde dl, waves, very large ocean waves. Avalanches, evil tilde, tilde tilde z, large masses of snow and ice, sliding down a mountain side. Terrifying, filling with terror. 2.7, Summary. In Units 1 and 2 we have introduced you to the elements that go into the organization of a good paragraph, such as the topic sentence, the development of the topic, coherence, and the use of linking devices. We have also discussed different techniques of developing paragraphs, such as illustration, description, cause and effect, definition, and comparison and contrast. You should now be able to use these techniques in writing paragraphs on different topics. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.